Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right, hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Cacey Stone. And what we're going to talk about is note origination. Remember, guys, at Investor Fuel, we provide real estate investors, real estate entrepreneurs, and service providers and anybody in real estate the opportunity to 2 to 5x their business. And by doing that, they're helping them build the businesses they want to build and live the life they've always dreamed of. So, Cacey, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Excited to be here. Excited to chat.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to this. Looking forward to talking about notes. I don't have a ton of experience in it, but I've interviewed a lot of people that do. And before we get into all that, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about kind of where you came from, where you're at, what got you to this spot?
Yeah, no, most definitely. I appreciate you having me on and getting to chat.
Yeah.
And, I get very passionate about real estate. I love it. I love your comments a minute ago, because it is something that people can build a life around, and in a lot of ways that you don't realize. When I got into this space, this is not white out. This is actual gray. I had less of this back then. And you know the feeling?
No, yeah. Oh, I got one more there. So, yeah. So at least you got the hair on top.
This is all AI. But when I got in the space, I was told that you had to flip properties, and that's what I did. I flipped about 200 houses across DFW. I mean, from complete gut jobs to lipstick on a pig. I mean, you named it, we did it. And we had multiple crews going. It was fun. I learned a lot. And not only how some people choose to live, but what you can do to increase property values, how to buy right, how to sell,
Sure.
etc. That was super fun. And then I remember flipping a house just south of Dallas, and I gone through, put all this work into putting out a new floor and painting the walls and what have you. And I went back, put my lockbox up, and the buyer had tore out the flooring and took down half a wall because they wanted to redo it. And I was like, man, I could have saved that money, and you could have saved some money. And so what I do now is I do buy properties in all kinds of conditions, and I just sell them with owner financing back to the family, and I do very little work. Like if I think it needs $20K in rehab, I'll just sell it $20K under the ARV and let the buyer go customize it. I don't have a crystal ball, or I'd have won the lottery. So,
Sure.
I don't know what they're going to want. So we don't try to make those decisions. We just sell it cheaper. And I'm selling directly to the homeowners. So we market on a variety of platforms and things. But that's what we do. We provide financing to families that can't traditionally get loans from banks.
Oh, awesome. Now, okay, so you're getting a property under contract, and you're having the buyer come in, and you're saying, hey, I could do it at this price for this, or I could put some rehab into it and sell it at this price.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So like a good example, I have one in Garland that we picked up recently. And long story how we got it, we actually sold it a while back on owner financing. They decided to move on. They just deed and loot it back to us. They gave it back to us in rougher shape as a compliment for it. Then we gave it to them.
Yeah.
But I had a choice. I can go put 40, 50K into fixing it or sell it under market. And so we've been listing it under market for about a week and a half, and We have some people that are likely to buy on it. And if we typically do that, we'll sell it, we'll list it under market.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
You know, we are in a buyer's market more now as things have, inventories growing and holding times, et cetera. So if I start to see my holding time growing, I might go do some of the work and to get it up to market. I still don't believe in selling at ARV. I don't want to pay holding costs. Right now I'm sitting on 13 houses in inventory, I think it is. And so I don't, my goal is to hold around 8 or 10. So I'm a little heavy. That's not just what my wife says, but I'm trying to get rid of some of those, and get rid of some of them. And so sometimes we'll do the work and we still try to sell them under market a little bit just to move it. Because my money, I'm not flipping. My money is on the monthly payments made out over time. It's on the interest rate.
Right. And that's weird that you got in. So your first thing when you got into real estate was just flipping. You didn't do the wholesaling. You didn't do any of that type of stuff or like an agent. You just jumped in feet first and I'm going to start knocking down walls and painting, you know.
Yeah. I've probably in my career bought between 600 to 700 homes and I've wholesaled 3. I haven't done much in that realm. I don't have a buyer's list. I never have. When I got started, I did door knocking to find my first 40 or 50 deals. It's you know, you pay for your marketing either in time or money. And I didn't have money, so I paid for it in time. Once that pendulum started to swing, we moved into the money side of it. But yeah, so we found a lot through door knocking initially, and then and did mostly all flips. Occasionally, we would pick up some rentals in certain areas, but it was 98% flipping. Which is fun. I mean, you see the craziest stories. It's a thrill.
Well, let's talk about that. What's your craziest story? Give me a super crazy story that you had flipping a house or.
I mean, I got to keep it PC. I mean, there's a direct correlation between intravenous drug use and dead animals and properties. I won't get into stories on one that I think is the least grotesque. Bought a house in Melissa, Texas, just north of Fort Dallas. And we closed. We're going out there to start to plan our rehab. And there's a deep freeze. Open the deep freeze. There's a cat in a towel with scratch marks inside the freezer. And the bathroom has got drug needles everywhere you look. It's infuriating. And yeah.
You look at it kind of like, how could someone live like this?
I don't know how some people live. Same home. It's a mobile home out on some land. Same home. The home's lifted up 2.5, 3 feet on the cement blocks, but the trash around the front of the house is about the same height as the foundation. They would just come throw stuff out. I mean, they chose to live that way, but that one to the other extreme. I got another house in Garland, Mesquite rather. And the lady that we were purchasing it from had a fireplace in the living room. It looked nice and great. She said it was a faux fireplace her dad had installed. This is when I was still relatively new and I didn't jump in the attic. After closing, go get in the attic. He had never put the chimney chute through the roof and it just vented into the attic. And I thought that's, pandemonium. But the middle of the living room, there's a ceiling fan. The ceiling fan was actually an extension cord in the garage. They just cut the end of it, took it, wing nutted on the top of the ceiling fan 5 feet away from this fire extinguisher. And that's probably the most crazy thing at that house. Same house, before we bought it. I'm sitting with the seller and I said, hey, that room down on the right, there's plywood over that door. Can I go look in that room? She goes, yeah, about 3 years ago, squirrels got in that room. We just boarded it up. It's a squirrel's room now.
Oh my gosh.
That's the thing. Do you charge them rent? Like how you just have squirrel room? But
what did it look like when you got in there?
It had significant foundation shift. It actually had tilted, and that's where the gap came between the fascia and the soffit and the ceiling and the top of the wall. And that's where the air was coming in and the rats. And so the whole thing, the whole house. I have photos was to be desired, but that room, it looked like a jungle, had growth coming in. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
What were some of the, what do you think were some of the bigger challenges that you faced when you got into flipping or even got into real estate at all?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Knowing what was a deal and what wasn't a deal, I was a motivated buyer. I thought they were all deals. Everything was a deal when I saw it. And, I had that rosy glasses until I started getting a little bit of experience under my belt and realized that wasn't as great as I thought. I've also come to learn that once I get into a deal, the numbers always only get worse. I just have that mentality. And so if it's on the line, it's a no-go.
Yeah.
If, getting better is like the lottery. It may happen, but it's the anomaly. You don't find gold bars in the foundation.
Yeah. You don't find out that, oh, that was actually better than I thought. It's actually the flip side of that.
So knowing how to evaluate and what you're really looking for. And then if I was wholesaling, it's the same thing. What does my buyer want? What is my buyer really looking at? And I do have wholesalers reach out to me deal, and I do buy from wholesalers. And when they try to convince me something's a deal, like, yeah, don't sell me on it. I know how to do the numbers.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But knowing what was a deal, I think, is something that comes with experience. And when you don't have it, find someone in your network that does, because they're there. And I think I was a little bit too proud or arrogant or what have you to go ask questions. But people that love real estate, like me, they never shut up. All they do is talk about it.
Well, and two, to kind of second that or back up what you said about, learn how to do it, find out the values of properties. You learned as a flipper, so you learned the best way, right? So if someone can, I think if they're going to learn from someone, make sure someone, I think, that's flipped houses, because I think they know a little bit more of the numbers, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think I also started to learn that sometimes less is more. Sometimes, it's not about, I could go add a master suite in the back here and a big bath. And, and sometimes you got to think about your holding time, your cost. You may get a little bit more, but your net profit might not actually have been any higher.
Yeah.
And then what really started to transition me a little bit less in flipping was a house in Saxe that I got. I don't remember how I got it. I would say one of my skills has been marketing historically, and we've got a pretty elaborate site. And I remember selling a house to a flipper where I netted, it was one of my first 6-figure deals, and I did no work. I just contracted it and resold it.
So was it turnkey?
Yeah, it needed a lot of rehab. I did gut it. We took out a lot of the hoarding trash.
Oh, okay.
So you could walk around. It's one of those where the hoarding I'm not a tall dude, but it was still up to like here on the little channels you can walk through.
Yeah, I've seen them all.
Yep, you've seen it. And so we got I think we had a couple 40-yard dumpsters and stuff, got it empty, but listed it and made a 6-figure. And the guy that did all the work sold it, made 30. I'm like,
sweet.
If I had that marketing skill and I could find those deals, maybe I could scale that as opposed to doing all the swinging hammers.
Well, for sure. That's everybody's eventual goal. So what does your team or your business look like now? I know you're still buying and holding properties, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
How many are you currently holding in your inventory right now?
Well, inventory is what I think I have 13 in inventory. Those are the ones that I'm trying to sell or I need tenants for. We have, I don't know, 140, 150 notes and 15, 20 rentals. And something like that. My goal, we want to acquire about 60 new properties this year. We don't sell anything. We hold all of them. We don't want to get rid of them.
Okay, and then but majority of them you're selling putting them on a note or like on a owner finance type of deal.
Majority of the time, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Just for folks that might be on here that don't know about what notes are or any of that stuff. So kind of give me the breakdown on everything.
Yeah, definitely. So a note, for most people, when you go to buy a home, you're going to Wells Fargo and get a bank loan. Well, a lot of people can't qualify for that, but they have good income. They've got a consistent job history, but for whatever reason, their credit score isn't great. They still need a place. And so what we do is we provide them that financing. I'm the lender. So they make their mortgage payment to me, every month. Instead of paying a rent, it's a mortgage. So they pay it to us, and then we have an escrow, pay the taxes, insurance. Everything's pretty standard. We do an underwriting process just like you're going through a bank.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
You know, we do pull their credit because we don't want them to have bankruptcies and foreclosures, but I don't care what the score is. There are laws around it that I won't go super deep into because you know, a lot of people have done what I do in a predatory way, and that has given us sort of a bad reputation. And I remember that when I was door knocking, I remember going to a home, telling the lady, "Hey, you're going to foreclosure, etc." She's like, "What do you mean? I've lived here 6 months. I've never missed a payment." And find out the investor that had sold her the home wasn't paying the underlying debt, and they were getting. And I helped her hire an attorney to go at it. They ended up keeping the house actually. It worked out to their favor, but had we not caught it ahead of time. But you can do this and be a win. You know, you can make things a win-win, and it's kind of awesome. I love what I get to do because I literally closed on a house in Fort Worth last week. Seller told me that had we not stepped in to help him, he was so depressed he didn't know what he was going to. He got grim. It was exciting to be able to offer that olive branch, that help to get him into a better spot. And then I haven't sold this home yet, but I have a home, a similar situation just north of there that, you know, when we sold it, the guy's writing our 5-star review on Google. And he's like, you know, I'm sitting here with my wife and kids writing a review in a home that I own and bought. And like, I never thought I could be a homeowner. And it's generational changes that we're making. And that's really exciting. You know, and our goal, as I mentioned earlier, we sell a little bit under market. We're also not one of those lenders that tries to charge people 12% on their mortgage, or they're not just their usury laws, there are ethics to it.
Sure.
And on that note, it's also, people that charge too high, it's a loan to own. They know you're not going to be able to afford that over time. They're going to get the house back and resell it.
Yep, and then just circle it all back again.
Exactly.
How are you buying these? Are you getting money from a bank? Are you doing hard or private money? I mean, how are you going and acquiring these properties?
I have a really good ski mask and a shotgun, and I just go down to the local bank.
We probably bought it at the same liquor store.
Yeah. I knew I recognized that hat.
Right.
You know, we buy almost everything subject to. So we take over the original seller's loan. So it goes kind of like this. The Jones family that's in the home has got to move for whatever reason. We take over paying on their loan subject to, and it's got a 3% mortgage out of $200K note. We then sell it for $250 at a 7 or 8% note. So we're making equity margin spread, and we're making an interest rate spread. And in that example, the bank is making on that $200,000, they're making 3%. Well, I sold it $250 at 8. So on the 0 to 200, I'm making 5 to their 3. So I make more money than the bank does. And then on the 200 to 250, I'm making the full 8. So that's where our cash flow comes in on it. And one of the nice things about holding paper is that, you know, you don't call your mortgage company when your water heater goes out. I don't deal with maintenance.
Right. Well, and that's what's going to be a question of mine, because it's been a topic before, is have you had any loans called?
No, I've never had one called, except like a due on sale call or something. No,
that's what I mean, like a due on sale clause.
Yeah. It's personally, I feel like it's kind of the boogeyman that everybody talks about and is scared of, but isn't really a thing. I mean, it's a thing, you know, and I say it's not a thing in that if you do things correctly, you mitigate the risk. It's still a risk without a doubt.
Sure.
And I also believe in more than open disclosure. You know, we talk with our sellers about it. We do a video call. We record our meeting with our sellers that we're buying the house from. You know, there is that is the risk, is the due on sale, and we make sure they know about it. And we're very open with them and with our buyers. They need to know there is an underlying loan in place. That's a legal disclosure in Texas. Not every state is the same there, but we talk about that with them. But one of the biggest thing is that Wells Fargo, who holds that loan, they want to make sure that that they're not taking advantage of, that you're paying the note on time. And a lot of these weren't current when I got it, so it went from non-performing to performing. They're happy. Two, they're really wanting to make sure the insurance is where most people screw it up. When you get that when I goes to the Smith family that buys it, and he's a list the Jones family, and he's a list Wells Fargo, and he's a list us as a mortgagee, all on that Smith family policy that we then send to Wells Fargo. As long as they know that the property is correctly insured, that they are protected, and the payments are coming in, lenders are really in the business of getting monthly payments.
Yeah.
They're not in the bigger risk comes from smaller lenders, the community credit unions or small community banks,
mom and pop banks. Yeah,
they're the risk, because if they're getting acquired by a bigger bank, their paper may get audited, or a lot of times it's their insurance auditing them on the smaller banks that cause an issue. But yeah, it is a risk at small banks. With that said, I've called small banks and said, hey, do you have any paper that's behind? And I've not bought the note, but I've taken over sub 2 with the bank, completely aware of what's going on.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, and it's to their advantage, because in a small community, it's hey, personally the Jones, and you don't want to be foreclosing on a family. It also hurts their reputation in the town. Their ability to go get more borrowers. So say, hey, I will be put on the hook. And I will we'll have our company making those payments, and we'll prevent. You got that rate. Let me keep getting you current, etc. And I've had 2 banks do that with us, where they actually will periodically send us, hey, I've got another person, and I'll tell them I'm not there to sell them on selling the house. They want to sell the house, we will come in. But yeah, it's a win-win.
Are you negotiating down payment? I mean, you're buying a sub 2, right? So, I mean, are you trying? I mean, obviously, we want to get it as low or no down, obviously. Yep. But I mean, so you're negotiating with the down with the seller, and then just also getting a little more from the buyer at the beginning too. So, kind of paid in the front, paid in the middle, paid at the end.
So our sellers, we buy a lot recently that have little to no equity. Because I just bought one that's a 2024 build.
Oh, jeez.
At a 3.1 interest on a 310K note. So yeah, brand new houses that have no equity, but it's got a cheap loan. So in that case, I'm paying the seller $500.
Yeah, not much to give to the seller. There's
no room. And I like a lot of the skinny ones. I've even done some upside down ones, because I had one in Mesquite that has 4 liens, had the mortgage, a solar, a foundation, and a windows. And it really was upside down, but all the rates were low enough that I could sell it for the debt amount and still make cash flow on the interest.
Okay.
I'll never sell it to somebody and be upside down, meaning that I owe more than what they owe me. Because if they may refinance, they may move, I need to be able to get that paid off, instantly. But yeah, it's definitely, another answer to your question too is I occasionally will deal with a seller that has no mortgage, home's paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it is true seller financing on both sides for me. And, I negotiate with my seller. I said, I have 3 levers: total price, monthly payment, and amount down. If you want all cash, I'm not your buyer.
Yeah. I like the teeter-totter type of thing, right? If you want your purchase price, you're down.
Okay. Yeah.
One goes up, one goes down.
And I let them control the monthly. If I can pay you little a month, out of my cash flow, that could work. So, and a lot of times they ask about interest. Well, what kind of interest are you going to pay? Actually, they don't ask usually, but if they do, I would say, one, I don't pay interest, and instead of that, I'll put some more payments on the end of the note for you. And it's actually to your benefit, because if I pay you interest, that's interest income that technically you should report on your income taxes.
Yep.
But if it's just your Section 179 homestead exemption, that's just the purchase price. So let's put that in the price, not in interest.
Smart.
It's a win-win for both of us. But then when I sell it on interest.
So you're going in and I mean, just a ballpark or an idea, how much are you on average spending on a property when you go in and to kind of get it up and ready before you do a finance on it?
I know that I look at the number of, once I've sold it, how much am I still in on it? So once I've resold it and I've got my money down, their closing costs, whatever, because I look at, what did I pay the seller? What did I pay title, utilities, holding? Some run rehab. Total cash to purchase minus my down payment from my borrower. to figure out what I'm still sitting invested in each property. And its average is last year about 7,000 that I have sitting in a house that cash flows me about 500 a month for 30 years. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir. Please, I have another.
Exactly.
How long do you, I think you said earlier, you don't sell any of them. I mean, how long do you hold on to these things, or you hold on till they mature?
I hold them forever.
Forever?
Occasionally, during when rates were really low, I had people that were refinancing.
Yeah.
Right now, I really don't.
Yeah.
I'll probably have 5 throughout the whole year, and it's usually they were moving more than anything, or for whatever reason. But we really don't have that much of that. We do get more deed in lieu or foreclosures where they can't or won't pay anymore, and we get it back.
And all of these, they're paying the insurance. You're not paying insurance on them, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, not even. Sometimes if they don't pay it, or we have to put force placed on it, we just put that on their debt, just like just like Wells Fargo would do.
Okay.
And so so that's all on their name. But then if we do have to deed in lieu or help them move on in life, then we will put our own policy on it while we're rehabbing it or getting it back to market.
Makes sense. Okay. And let's say someone was wanting to get into notes and whatnot. Like, what type of resources, what type of advice would you give to someone that can maybe learn from mistakes that you've made?
We'll sit down for a while because that list is long.
If you got enough, a couple hours.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely got started learning from some people on YouTube's, joining Facebook groups in the area. There's one that I like out of Dallas called No Nonsense Real Estate. That they're all note originators in there. They hold a mastermind, and I think it's one of those things. Go build a network and go use it. I think using it is what's important. People are too nervous or scared to call and ask a question, but go use the network. And I got a couple people that I mentee, just kind of their personal friends or what have you, and they're always scared to get on the phone. What if I don't know the answer? You know what? It's okay. I guarantee you know more than they know.
Yeah. At one point, they didn't know the answer.
Yeah, exactly. But you know more than your buyer or your seller knows.
Yeah.
And so answer what you can, and you can't say, hey, you know what? I've got a network of friends that have thousands of deals. Let me get you the correct answer and get right back to you on that. But let's talk about this and let's address it, but let's move to the next thing. But then go ask your larger network and come back to them. Do come back. Don't forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think getting online and be active. There are masterminds for it. To go to some of the events where people talk about it.
Right.
And it's super powerful. I love it. I think notes are really, really neat. Once you learn how to do them. The downside to notes is that it do require capital. I'm out money for a while on that every property until I just break even.
Yep.
And so, I always tell people that are getting started, so you can't go, it's not a polar thing, 100% flipping to 100% notes. You go do some flipping or wholesaling.
You got to transition in slowly.
Do a couple. You're building the Great Wall of China one brick at a time.
Yep.
So you set that brick and keep that note, and then do some other wholesales, get enough pop of cash, pick a deal that you like, make that one a note. And then your ratio will change over time, but slowly build it.
Awesome. Okay. And then what's your volume right now? Like how many deals are you doing now a year versus kind of what's your goal in the next, let's say, 4 to 5 years?
So we'll hold about 65 to 70 houses this year. And we'll hold that many. Well, new ones. We'll bring on new ones.
Right.
We'll bring on that many new ones this year. My goal, I keep picking up free land. I just got 15 acres that I want to make into an RV park.
Cool.
That I actually want to put a little disc golf on one end of it.
Sweet.
But I bought it for, I don't remember, 210, but it had 17 acres, had a mobile home on one end. I cut off 2 acres, sold that mobile home for what I bought the whole thing for. So I got the 15 for free. And we're gonna break ground. So I'm moving into other asset classes slowly. Awesome. But I will always do some notes, for sure.
And what do you think what do you think some of your obstacles are to maybe get to where you want to go, where your goals might be? I want to have 300 notes in our portfolio before I dilute effort. I feel like if you boil the ocean, you can't boil the ocean. I can't spread too thin. Yeah, right.
And my team is highly focused on what we do, and so I don't want to divert too much from it, but at some point that everybody's scared to go over the reins, right? To get help and that's logical, and no one's going to do it as good as you can. But you know what? Even if they do it 90%, but you can go do something else, the net volume can be more.
Oh, sure.
And so that's something we're moving in that direction. Actually, just hired 3 new people today that joined our team.
Awesome.
To help keep it going. I do a lot of VAs.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, South America, a lot of Spanish speaking, and people in the Philippines and one in Cambodia.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like our guests to know about you or your business or anything?
I like vanilla ice cream.
With hot fudge?
Yeah, you read my mind. No, I mean, real estate's amazing. It's what you want out of it. There are a lot of ways to do it. One thing I've come to realize is that it's a lot more broad than I originally thought. And to that extent, I talk about notes and originating notes. I've only talked about one aspect. There are other friends of mine that only buy notes, or they trade notes. They do partials. They do hypothecating against notes. Like, there's 7 other variations you can go do. The rabbit hole goes deep, but find what niche you excel at, know what your skills are, and then focus on them. But notes are great. I'm an originator. I'm not a seller. I have some friends that they get great notes. They sell it for a pop of cash. Even hypothecating, where you put your note up as collateral on a loan.
Right.
And we've done that before for cash. So there's just a lot of things that can be done, but I learned that all from my network.
It's not about what you know anymore. It's about who you know.
It really is. Really is.
Really is. Well, cool. Hey, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. Casey, thank you. I mean, it sounds like you got a great business going. I love the note idea. I'm going to have to probably pick your brain on that a little bit more. And if our folks want to get in touch with you, maybe talk a little bit more about the note business, your business, et cetera, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so my primary website is stonepropertybuyers.com, stonepropertybuyers.com. Our dispo brand is Buy House No Banks. Makes sense. That's how I find our note buyers. You can go to either one of them, but Cacey, Cayce, at stonepropertybuyers.com is my email. Cool. I live on email.
Cool. And then we'll put all your links and other stuff that you sent me in the show notes. So guys, take a look for that. And thank you again, man, for all the nuggets that you dropped. I mean, I think we, like you said before, we could talk for days on this, and we'll maybe have to set up another podcast and just talk some more. But I hope everybody enjoyed the show, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.